You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to the Podketeers podcast, episode 213. This week we celebrate Disneyland's 63rd birthday by doing our best to sing happy birthday to the park that we love. And I think we got a solid B. Minus, maybe. I mean, you be the judge. We talk about The Incredibles 2 earning Disney yet another record at the box office. We address a rumor that started several months ago about the Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom receiving a Coco overlay, and then we just kind of workshop the idea. Plus, we talk about the closing of Disney Toons Studios, the impact that it had, and we try to make sense of why the closure happened. Before we jump into the episode, I want to send a quick shout out and big thank you to the FGP Squad for their support in making this episode possible. Who is the FGP Squad? Well, they are our podcast Fairy Godparents who help us out with a contribution via Patreon. If you would like more information on becoming a Fairy Godparent, you can head on over to podketeers.com/FGP. Also, the Chalk Walk is rapidly approaching. We're trying to raise money to help the Children's Hospital of Orange County, and we have a very ambitious goal to raise $5,000, but we need your help. Links to our personal fundraising pages will be available in the blog post for this episode over at podketeers.com/213. And if you could spare even $1, that makes a tremendous difference in helping us reach our goal. Thank you to everyone that has already donated, and thank you in advance to all of you that will also donate. Also, if you didn't get a chance to attend, you can check out the parade to celebrate Disneyland's 63rd birthday on our YouTube channel or in the blog post for this episode. Again, podketeers.com/213. And that's it. It is time to jump into this podcast. Here is episode 213 of Podketeers.
Come on, you can do it.
And by Tuesday, we mean Disneyland's birthday.
Yeah,
that's
that's right. I keep forgetting.
63.
That just creeped up on us.
We should do a remix instead of Kiki. It could be Mickey, do you love me? Here's a churro.
Wow.
That's like my favorite part of that. Here's a churro.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
Ooh, Disneyland's 63rd birthday, guys.
Yeah. Are they doing anything? Like, I know sometimes they give out like buttons and do little things for the smaller birthdays. Do we know if they're doing anything special this week?
I'm sure they will. I mean, normally they'll have cast members out with the big styrofoam
sign.
or foam core signs and stuff.
To take a picture with.
Sign spinners.
I was
Photo
there.
ops.
The Main Street sign spinners.
They'll have the characters out, I'm sure. They'll have daytime fireworks to celebrate as everyone sings along, which is a lot of
Wait,
fun.
daytime fireworks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
They'll-
over Main
Wait.
Street.
Is this where...
Like what time of day?
Go ahead.
It's
I want to
typically
say
in the
like
afternoon.
around 2. Actually, no, excuse me. I actually read that there's going to be 2. They're going to
Really?
have it twice. I don't know if it's going to be the fireworks, but they're going to be, I guess, singing Happy Birthday. Or actually, what is it? It's not Happy Birthday. Happy Anniversary?
No, I thought they sang Happy Birthday.
They sing Happy Birthday. It's in Town Square.
They have
No,
all
I
the
kn-
characters
well-
lined up on the
Yeah.
railroad station.
But they have... this year they'll have 63 characters, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a nice little celebration. I think usually when they go all out for the decade celebrations is always when they bring out the big guns, right? And they have all the
Right,
special
Yeah.
right.
merchandise and all that other stuff. But it's always cool to go and celebrate and hear Walt's speech on Disneyland's birthday. I wish I was able to go. I'm going to be working.
So do you think they're going to do something slightly bigger for the 65th? Or do you think the next big one will be the 70th?
Maybe the 75th?
I thought
No.
75th.
Or the 75th?
Yeah, 75th
Yeah.
I think will be the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Funny, seems like we just
that's a long ways
celebrated the
off.
60th anniversary last year.
Right?
We did, right? Didn't it last for 2 years?
3 seasons.
Ish, yeah. About 3.
2.5.
In Disney years, I guess.
So on a pragmatic level, is that going to be the best day to go to California Adventure? Is Disneyland's birthday? Because everybody's going to be over there.
Yeah,
good thought.
probably.
Sweet. That's where I might
I
be.
mean, that Incredicoaster standby line is going to be, what, 6 minutes?
Oh, nice.
Right.
It
You forgot a
actually-
zero.
Don't quote me on that one.
Hazen said.
Both times I've gone since it opened, that line has been pretty manageable. It really hasn't been out of control any day that I've been there, which is kind of cool.
Have you gone through the entire queue, or have you gone through the compressed queue?
Well, I guess I don't know what you mean by compressed.
Fast
queue.
pass.
I've gone through.
Yeah.
Oh,
You could have
yeah,
just said
I've
fast
done both.
pass.
I guess I could have, but, it's nice to confuse Gavin every so often.
Yeah, I thought, wait, what do they do to the queue to compress it?
Well, they
That's
take
weird.
both sides and then they squash it really hard.
It's a superpower.
That sounds painful.
It's,
Yeah.
it's one of Jack's
Crush it.
superpowers, right?
That's the guy from Incredibles 2. What's
Yeah.
his name? Crusher?
You want me to uncrush?
Crushes it. If someone says unpunch, what do? That's probably my favorite line from the whole movie.
Yeah, when you were in line for the Incredicoaster, I've only gone through the Fast Pass line as well. But when you went
Okay.
through the full
The compressed
queue,
line.
did you happen to see any interactive elements to it that might eventually coincide with the Play app?
I wasn't really on the lookout, but I didn't notice anything. No. Really, the only thing that I noticed were all of the... they have kind of like a little billboard for each of the characters in the family that kind of explains who they are and what they do, like what their powers are, what they're known for. I didn't really notice much of anything else. That was the one thing about the Incredicoaster that I was slightly disappointed by, is that I thought they were going to enclose the end of the queue where the loading section is, and I thought we were going to be able to go into their like Incredibles 2 house, and it would be more like that. I mean, I thought it was really cool. I like the design work and the look and the new colors, and you feel like you're in an Incredibles area for sure. But yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out to see if there's anything for the Play app potentially there. This week will be the first time I actually get to play with the Play app, because the last 2 times I went, I had forgotten to download the app.
Way to go, Gavin.
We tried it that one day. We all
I
went.
know.
Or that Gavin met up with us. We're
Yeah.
just trying to do the
Yeah,
trivia.
and I got to see a bunch of people playing it in the Peter Pan queue, and I know that Melissa got to check that out as well.
I did.
So I know that there's some really cool, neat stuff that I've seen, and it got me excited. So I came right home and downloaded it, and I can't wait to try it and play with it.
Melissa, what were some of the interactive elements that you saw in the Peter Pan queue?
Well, I didn't get to play the game, but I did notice a few things that are on the queue. The game, unfortunately, you need 2 to 5 players.
Oh.
So I was like really bummed I couldn't play. But I noticed a few things in the queue, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? I know those glasses. That wasn't there before. So it's really cool. And now that I think back at it, I wasn't really paying attention, but people were playing in the queue, and they were getting all excited. The coolest thing out of everything is if you have your Bluetooth on, which is really, really critical, and you're through the attraction, once you get off and the moment those gates that you close behind you, you get your badge. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It's a cute little badge of Peter Pan flying. It's really adorable. But I was really surprised at how fast you were able to get it. It was instant.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. It's sad that you need that amount of players to actually play the game. I guess it does force you to
Yeah.
interact with other people in the queue, but I'm wondering at this point how many people are going to try to Pokemon Go this thing and carry a clipboard with 6 devices to pretend that there's 6 players playing
Oh my gosh.
just to try to get all the badges on
That's
all of the
hilarious.
attractions.
You know what I wish
That's funny.
would happen is that if you were to be logged in and you saw other people logged in and you were interacting with other people playing, like other guests, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. Now, have you tried it multiple times? Like, what happens when you go back through Peter Pan? Do you get like additional badges or like more points or something?
You get a here again question mark.
You
Right.
again?
Once you unlock the badge itself, it's there and you have it in your collection, but I don't know what happens after. I mean, it'd be nice, but I'd have to do it like before midnight because the line is so crazy long all the time.
Well, there you go, guys.
Yeah,
Once you unlock it, you never have to ride Peter Pan again.
Right.
No.
Oh, cool. Maybe that'll shorten the line. Not. I did Peter Pan at Rope Drop earlier this past week. I've done it once before, and I thought, let me try it again. And oh my gosh, if you ever want the magic of Disneyland ruined for you, try to do Peter Pan at Rope Drop because people turn into animals.
Yes.
I mean,
Savage.
absolute animals trying to get into that line as if their life depended on it. I mean, I saw families like split apart, like the dad and one kid like jumped in and like hopped over ropes and got all the way up there, and the mom and another kid are like separated and they can't get up there and they don't care, they're just going, and oh my gosh, it was insanity.
Wow.
And it still took a half an hour for me to get on the ride. I was like at the rope, and because I obeyed the rules and didn't run, I still had a half an hour wait on
Well,
Peter
that'll
Pan.
learn you.
I guess. It's nuts. I don't understand why people are willing to stand in that line
Because it's
so
that
much.
good.
Is it though?
It's
I mean,
one
is
of
it
my
that
favorites.
much better than Alice in Wonderland? I mean, it's good, but I just
You could touch the
know.
stars, Gavin. You could touch the stars.
No,
there.
I tried. They told me to
Please
get back
don't.
in the pirate ship. You can't do that.
I mean, I agree. I love the attraction. I think they did a great job with some of the plussing they did. I just don't think it's good enough to wait in that line more often than like twice a year.
What? Twice a year?
No.
Those are some fighting
Unless
words.
like a group wants to get in. You also have to understand that 9 times out of 10 when I'm there by myself. And so standing in queues by yourself isn't always the most fun.
Right.
And so it's different if I'm hanging out with you guys and it's like a group and we want to get in line because, you know, we can chat about stuff. We can observe things together. We can play Disney Play together, you know, all this stuff. But when you're on your own, it's it's a little daunting to get into a 45 minute line by
So
yourself.
Gavin looks at the line for Peter Pan and he's like, "Oh, single rider," and instantly it's like, "Wah wah 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 wah."
Totally.
And and then the lines, the queue for all the dark rides, they're so small. I was like, this isn't 1955,
Yes.
guys. Americans are bigger now.
Yeah.
Like, go
Right.
sideways.
That's what bugs me the most about those queues because if I have to stand in any line by choice, right? If I'm not there with the kids or something, they normally want to ride everything. But Peter Pan might be the one attraction that I'm willing to stand in line for in Fantasyland. But they are so narrow. Like, usually you got a backpack on or something. You're swiping people left and right as you're going through there. And
then kids
it's
are
like,
sitting on the rails. And
yes, they're like hanging off of it. And you're knocking them with your backpack. Or it's a debacle.
I feel like you're trying to rob a bank when you walk in between the queue. You're like, don't touch the rails. Don't. It's like Operation. Ow.
The rails is lava.
It's like a laser grid in a vault.
Seriously. Let's put some baby powder so you can see where the lasers are. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
You know what? If we're going to start doing it that way, they need to bring Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable over to Disneyland.
They're at Epcot.
Nice.
Sorry.
I know, but now they need to come over here so we can start doing that type of adventure here. Unless we get Gravity Falls to ourselves, then I'm all for it.
There you go. There you go. Bring Dipper
Yeah,
and Mabel to the
I'm
park.
for it.
Oh, man. If they could bring Grunkle Stan, oh my gosh. Forget about it.
All of them.
He would look
Forget
awesome.
about it.
Imagine how many people would be carrying around Waddles.
Oh.
Everybody wants a little Potbelly Pig.
Oh, Totally. They could sell a whole line of Mabel's sweaters. Everybody would buy that.
I'm sure that the rainbow sweater would be the most popular one, though.
Yeah, of course. And the
The
little
snapback hat is.
Pine's hat that Dipper wears.
definitely.
You see that a lot.
I need to get me one of those,
they-
but without the snapback.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a big fan of like the snapback trucker hat style.
I don't know if I've seen one.
Yeah,
that's
they're
No,
all-
I'd have to have one
Have you
custom
seen a
made.
fitted style?
I'd have to have a fitted one
Yeah.
made.
That's the thing. I wish that they had more of a presence of the popular television properties, but they've never really pushed that. They've never really maintained merchandising or even, sale for home viewing for their television shows.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me because they have some seriously popular properties, like that whole Disney Afternoon era and things like Kim Possible, things like Gravity Falls. It's insane to me that they don't have a strong presence in the parks and really in the Disney universe where fans can consume them like on a merchandise level.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, we're starting
crazy.
to bring back the afternoon ones. Like you see
Yeah,
Darkwing Duck,
it's-
Chippendales, Rescue Rangers,
it's-
DuckTales.
Isn't it primarily all
it's
like
all
a female
women's.
clothing
Yeah.
line though? Yeah.
So lucky
Sorry.
for Melissa and AJ.
It's only taken like what 20
I
years.
know, right?
Progress.
Yeah, but that does suck, Gavin. You don't even see Phineas and Ferb anymore at DCA. I like that little show that they had.
Hurts, man.
Do you guys, back to Peter Pan for a second, do you guys foresee a future where they might claim that heraldry shop as queue space for Peter Pan and like expand the queue so that it's
Yes.
a little more extensive and they could do some more theming and provide some more shade for that long queue?
Yes.
Because I could
If they
I could see
did-
them doing that.
If they did, I would love to see it like Walt Disney World's
What's theirs?
interactive, where you could see you see Peter Pan's shadow.
Ooh,
And the nursery.
that's cool. And see, maybe then they could make room for a fast pass line for Peter Pan here, which they desperately need.
But don't you think that'll make the wait times like
I don't care.
a lot
I'm only
higher?
using fast pass.
Max Pass, Gavin.
Yeah,
Max Pass
max
for you.
pass.
Same thing.
We could also turn it into the magic shop again.
That's true. That would be cool.
I mean, that would be nice. It's in Fantasyland. Why not?
Do they need 2 magic shops though?
I was gonna say
Yes. Yeah, they do. Look, having the magic shop back in Fantasyland is pretty historic, considering some big names got their start there.
That's true. That's true.
True.
I mean, where would we be without Steve Martin today if he had not started in the magic shop in Fantasyland?
Right.
Oh, we might not have the jerk, and that would be okay.
But no Three Amigos.
Yes,
Oh.
Yeah, no Three Amigos.
That would be sad to lose that. And Father
Which
of the Bride.
then you wouldn't have the
Yep.
Donald version, the Three
Right.
Caballeros.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
It all happens for a reason, Gavin.
Yeah, that's
So maybe
true.
we do need the magic shop there.
Okay.
Again.
Or a third Mad Hatter.
Or a third Mad Hatter. We got enough
Right
of
next
those.
to each other.
We got enough of those. I don't think they would reclaim it for queue area. It would be smart though, because a lot of people, I mean, it's empty right now, right? After the heraldry shop closed, they haven't really done anything with that space, right?
No, it's
They had it as a holiday stuff.
It's a
shop.
holiday shop.
Like a ornament,
It's like
yeah.
ornaments and stuff now.
But is it seasonal or is it open all the time?
I don't think
Year-round.
it's open for all park hours because I feel like I walk by a lot of times and it's closed, and then
Yeah.
later in the day it's open. Like I don't
That's
think
why
it
I thought
opens
it was only open.
the whole park operating day.
See, that's why I thought it was only open for like seasonal times, because the times that I've passed by, I've never seen the place open.
Yeah, no, it's open.
Well, if they're going to have a place to sell their holiday wares, that might be a reason for them to keep it as a shoppy.
I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it, but all right.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Well, I don't say shoppy.
Well,
Chopin.
well, then you're saying it wrong.
Okay, so just to throw it out there, so to kind of continue the topic of them maybe changing or reclaiming or remaking areas, have you guys heard this rumor that has been kind of going around about a possible overlay for the Haunted Mansion attraction in Disney World?
Read something about it, but
Yeah,
I have not.
So the rumor is apparently Coco, which is really strange to me. I think there's some potential there, but I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the type of thing that they could pull off in an overlay. Now, until I saw the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay here, I wasn't sure about that either. And, over the years, it's kind of grown on me. But I don't know. I think that the idea of doing an overlay in Disney World has merit because they don't have any overlays. Like, we have kind of cornered the market on overlays here in California, right? With Space Mountain and Haunted Mansion, and
It's a small world as well.
and it's a small world. And I guess, do they do the Jingle Cruise in Disney World?
They
they
didn't do it last
do.
year.
We don't anymore.
We don't.
Oh,
They did.
okay. So that would be the closest thing they
yeah, that's the
have
only
to
overlay
an
they do.
overlay. But I mean, that's not really. I guess it's an overlay. So I don't know. I feel like there might be kind of a clamoring for it out there because we've had it here for so long. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that would work for the mansion out there?
I think it'd be pretty awesome. And I know it's probably not going to be the most popular choice, but I think it'd be pretty cool to see a change or an overlay over the Haunted Mansion. Especially seeing what they have technology-wise, what they could do. I'm game for it.
So what would the story be though? Like whose house would you be going through? That's
Yeah,
the
that
part
sounds
that
a
would
little
confuse me. Like, would you be going through, a specific person's house, or would they make it look like you're not in a house at all? Like that to me would be the confusing part.
I think if you want to put a story to it, the most obvious one is you are trying to get away from De La Cruz and you're trying to make it back
Okay.
to the world of the living. I think, honestly, that's the only thing that would make sense to me, that you cross into the world of the dead and that you're somehow in all of these rooms, you're trying to find him, get a blessing from one of your family members, and each of them pops up at random times trying to give you the blessing, but the Doom Buggy's just kind of scooting you away at that point.
Right.
And,
Okay.
in his mansion.
And then maybe when you go down into
Yeah.
the graveyard scene, like you're like going through a whole thing of marigolds or something, and you end up in that graveyard where you see like the living and the dead because it's the Day of the Dead. Okay, I can see that. That could work. Do you think they can actually pull it off to where it seems like they're not just sticking characters into the mansion, that it feels like a new environment? Because I feel like they just pull that off here with Nightmare. Like they add just enough to where it feels like, okay, this could exist in the world of Nightmare Before Christmas. With Coco, I mean, I feel like they'd have to do quite a bit in order to make it feel like it's not just characters that are visiting this foreign place. You know what I mean?
That's funny because you said that you feel like they just did enough to make you feel like it. I've never felt like that. I just felt like the story behind Jack invading the Haunted Mansion just kind of sticks out to me. And so I feel like it's not Halloween Town. It's the Haunted Mansion with some characters from Nightmare Before Christmas. I've never felt like that. But you're absolutely right. If they ever did this in the Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World, they would have to work 5 times harder to add enough animatronics and enough theming and just enough decorations to really pull off and immerse you in the world that they created for Coco.
See, with the Nightmare story and our Haunted Mansion here, I guess I don't feel like I see it as Jack like taking over. I feel like for those months, the story is like, this is just a place in Halloween Town. Like I guess it's supposed to be him kind of taking over, but I don't know. To me, the mansion just exists in Halloween Town, and it's a ride where we get to see Nightmare Before Christmas. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but for me, it doesn't ever feel like it's a takeover.
I mean, I think it's in the actual script, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, yeah, he does wreck the halls.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah,
Jack
but I
is
feel like
here
it's
to
just
wreck
part
the
of their
halls.
planning for the takeover of Christmas, right? Like, it's not actually like here that they're taking over. It's just like this is what's happening in Halloween Town as we, make our plans and put together our toys and all the things they do in the movie to take over Christmas. I don't feel like it's in Christmas Town at all. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm totally misinterpreting it.
I forgive you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. That's kind of beside the point, though. Like, ultimately, for both of these ideas, like, if they put the time and effort into it, I believe Imagineering could pull this off as a Coco overlay
definitely.
in Disney World. They have wowed me for my entire life at this point, so I have faith in Imagineering. They're amazing. However, I've always felt that Nightmare Before Christmas should just have its own attraction, its own permanent attraction. And I feel the exact same way about Coco. I think that movie has so much attraction potential in it that I would love an attraction based on Coco, whatever it would be. So I'm half interested in overlays, as a concept. I think it's an okay concept. But I'd rather them develop an actual attraction for Coco. I know that we also talked about a rumor many months ago about them inserting Coco into the Mexico Pavilion and that attraction in Epcot. But, that seems to have fallen by the wayside. I don't totally know why, because that's the perfect place for it to be. But, they have the Three Caballeros there, and I guess they don't want to just boot them right out. I don't know. I don't get it. But I feel like Coco should have an attraction.
That I agree
I
with.
definitely agree.
But in the Mexico Pavilion, they ended up putting up the ofrenda. So you were able to go and actually see some visual effects where you would see some of, like, apparitions almost.
Yeah.
You
see ghosts.
Yeah, that was really cool. But we could just totally do so much better with a full attraction. I mean, I don't know for certain if there is space in Epcot for that in Mexico, but like Gavin said, it's the perfect spot to have it. It just, to me, it doesn't really make sense in Magic Kingdom, even as just a holiday overlay, but only time will tell if this is actually a true rumor or not, or if we'll actually get a full-fledged attraction in Epcot.
What's behind Mexico right now?
Kind of like Test Track. They kind of butt up against each other. Ish.
I mean, if they're going to be throwing in a Ratatouille Ride attraction behind France, then maybe there's some room behind Mexico.
If
There's
Disneyland could do it, they could do it. And we got no space.
I know, right?
I know, right?
Just going to build above.
Just gonna
take
go
an
up.
elevator up.
That's amazing.
But, I mean, as much as I love the Grand Fiesta Tour featuring the Three Caballeros,
Yes. Awesome.
close your ears, babe. No, I really enjoy it, and I love that they finally brought the actual animatronics for the Three Caballeros. It's just, I feel like that attraction could use a little more love. Even though I love it now, it could just use a little. PJ is like giving me the glance. I'm telling you, I love that attraction. I really do. And there's hardly ever a wait for it, which is totally awesome as well.
It's like the Little Mermaid of here.
Yeah.
Right.
I
And
remember.
I love it. I just, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I went as a little kid. That was one of my favorite pavilions. I really loved that whole environment they created in there. I think it's really neat. But I think, again, I think they could plus it to an entirely new level if they were to make it a Coco theme. And I think that could go throughout the entire thing, and they could like ramp it up during the fall when it's leading up to that whole season. But they could also do that as part of the Halloween parties that they do. Maybe make Coco one of the main ideas for those parties, as far as leading the parades, or having kind of a Coco themed music festival or something could be a part of the fall and Halloween festivities.
That'd be really cool if they had like a dance party where you go to Ernesto de la Cruz's like
Oh man, yes,
or, like, penthouse or whatever.
Yes,
because they have
Sunrise
different
Spectacular.
like
Yes.
dance parties throughout Magic Kingdom. So that'd be cool if they did that.
Totally
Do that
agree.
instead of the overlay.
Yes,
That's a good idea.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know where I stand on the overlay.
Honestly,
But whatever Disney does, I'm sure it'll be great.
eventually we have to become like consultants for blue sky sessions for Imagineering because we come up with gold week after week on this show.
Yeah, I mean, if you got Imagineering, if you guys want to get a hold of me for this, just hazen@podketeers.com. Just throwing it out there. Send me an email. We'll talk.
Yes.
Or mail at podketeers.com or Disney for two at podketeers.com. And then Gavin, he has a Gmail.
There's a
Bringing
behind
it back to
curtain
the
there.
West Coast. Bringing it back to the West Coast, guys. This whole keeping with Coco. What if we didn't do an overlay, like you guys are saying? What if we had a whole attraction? Would you care if it was full-blown dark ride status, or knowing the technology that we have now in Hong Kong with the Iron Man experience, would you be cool with seeing kind of like a Star Tours like experience where you're going through De La Cruz's mansion or through the world, that they go through, flying on an alebrije, and then we just put it in the back in stage 19 in that area that nobody's using for anything right now.
Kind of
Or
a
stage 19 where Black Panther is.
kind of a flight of passage
you mean
kind of thing.
20-something towards the back?
Yeah, I'm thinking right behind where they have, right where the Buzzwings wall is.
Yes.
Still
Yeah,
I
haven't
think
so
that's
seen it.
that-
29.
Is that 29?
I think it's 29.
Well,
Old
regardless
Hollywood
of what
and
number
Dine.
it is. Yeah, that back one. I
Yeah,
think
that's
it could be repurposed to do, yeah, exactly, like a Flight of Passage type ride, where you're riding on the back of an alebrije, and man, that would just be a phenomenal experience.
That would be fun.
Yep.
Can it be Pepita?
Oh, that'd
That'd be
be
cool.
amazing.
Sure. I want to ride on the back of Dante.
Heck yeah.
Aw.
He can
But
barely
he could
keep
fly
himself
next to
up.
us.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that would be incredible. I could go either way with it. I would love to see contemporary animatronic characters, but
Right.
I could also see like some sort of a flying simulation 3D type of a ride like we're talking about, and I think that would be super sweet. I mean, I could even see them doing something with the Void where it's just like an adventure in the land of the dead, with VR or AR or whatever it is, some sort of bending of reality, and having some sort of an adventure there where you're trying to get back, try to acquire that blessing to get back to the land of the living.
Yeah.
I think they could do a number of things. I just feel like it's such a viable entity, and I feel like people would want to explore in that universe so much more. And I hope they don't do a sequel. I just want an attraction.
Yeah, no sequels needed.
Yeah,
It's just going to be Miguel's concert. That's
and even if they did a stage show, I think they could do something amazing with that. I don't know. I feel like
Miss those.
I hope there's something being developed for Coco.
I think if it was going to be a Coco attraction, I'm not big on like Star Tours, the whole 3D thing, just because motion sickness. But I like the dark rides because it feels like you're really part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, even what is it? Flight of Passage. Like, yeah, you feel like you're there, but it's nothing like seeing a dark ride. I was thinking if it would be more like Peter Pan, so you're flying through it and you can see different scenes, because then it's slow enough where you could hear all the different music, so you could appreciate that. But then all the different colors, especially like the black light colors when they just pop, and then even maybe like you could get showered through the Marigold Bridge, like you're flying under it, and then like it just kind of like confetti or something, or even like take the old water screen from Pirates that they're not using with Davy Jones. They could just do that image on there.
Sure.
So you're like flying through it. But For me, I would love a dark ride rather than a 3D ride. Or if it's like, what's the river adventure?
Navi River
the
Journey.
Navi River Journey, where you see kind of, it's not 3D, but you see like, LCD screens and then, stuff in your face. So it's a little bit of both, maybe.
Well,
That's actually a good
But I
idea.
think for me, it would be the music that's driving it, because
Sure.
I think that's what caught me, is the music.
Right.
I love your idea, though, because in the movie itself, when you're in the Land of the Dead, they have several like suspended monorail, like hanging tram kind of transportation systems. So you could be boarding one of those, kind of like you board a ship for Peter Pan's flight, and just kind of travel through the Land of the Dead that way, and that could be amazing. And my mind goes crazy thinking of ideas for what they could do for the queue. So it's like, as you enter the queue, you're making the transition to the Land of the Dead. I think it'd be incredible.
That'd be cool if they scan your picture and they're like, you have a picture.
Yeah, exactly.
On the front end.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like in Star Tours when they're doing that scan of everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Except
That'd be
everybody
cool.
looks like a Pixar skeleton.
Or
That'd be
Imagineering,
Cool.
listen.
Dude.
Or as you're walking by a specific area, like you put your hand up and it projects like a skeleton hand on you.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yes, please, on everything.
What?
Make it happen.
Why would you want skeleton hands all over your body?
But still, the technology, it's there. It'd be cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that
And
would
also,
be
I
cool.
would like to smell the marigolds. So.
That'd be cool too.
Oh, and then at the end, we can use the technology from Memento Mori to turn you into a portrait, to turn you into one of the skeletons from Coco.
100%.
Yes.
Sugar skull. Oh,
Yes.
man.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Are we
And at
writing
the
this down?
end of the attraction, they give you a Coco churro.
Oh my.
Coco churro bites for everyone.
Oh man.
Because they offer food at the ofrenda, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
You select what drink and what food.
Yeah, you
There
can
you go.
drink it with a cup of beer.
Coco. Oh, beer. Beer. That tastes like Coco.
Actually, it'd be cerveza.
Cerveza.
Yeah.
Coco cerveza.
He said that.
But for the grown-ups, you get a shot
mean,
of
look.
tequila.
Look,
There you go.
There are chocolate stout beers, okay?
That's
and
true.
they are fantastic, so I am for it.
Nice.
Well, I mean, if you guys have ideas of how an overlay or a Coco attraction would work out, leave us a comment. Join the conversation over on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. We'd love to hear all of your ideas. What do you think? Would you like to see it as an overlay at the Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World? And if you don't, why not? I mean, we have the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay here, and it seems to be working out because they keep doing it before Halloween for some reason. I'm not even going to get into
works.
that conversation.
It works.
But I'm not for it, by the way. I think it should happen after Halloween. That's the
Boo.
Cliff Notes version of that conversation. So let us know what you guys think in the comments on the blog post, podketeers.com/213, or over on Facebook, Instagram, or on Twitter.
I was just going to say they have to have the overlay up before Halloween because of the Halloween parties. They start in like September. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
I get that,
It means
but-
more money for Disney, Hazen.
Oh, when
Just
you put
saying.
it that way.
So they could do all these cool things.
God, now I understand what you're saying.
No, I
You
did
had
want to say, if
put
it was
in
going to be
the dinero terms for me.
if they did have an overlay at Haunted Mansion, the only idea I thought of was if you're following Dante or Miguel is chasing Dante, into
That
the
would
World
be
of the Dead.
cute.
So you see him popping up everywhere, flying around.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like
was the
that
only thing I
idea,
could think
yeah.
of.
I like it.
Speaking of Pixar movies, guys, it looks like Pixar is feeling quite incredible twice.
Heck yeah.
Because Incredibles 2 is now the highest PG animated film of all time.
It's not just PG animated, PG film. Like, it's the highest
Really?
grossing PG film in the U.S. of all time, and it's the highest grossing animated film.
Really?
Wow.
That's incredible.
Both of those distinctions. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So
Well, there you go.
yeah, it's gonna it's currently well over $500 million domestically, and it's approaching 900 million globally. So
Yeah.
it's huge. It's still not frozen huge. So keep buying tickets, everybody. But
That's crazy. We still need to watch it again.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
Field
I mean,
trip.
2018 has just been a phenomenal year for Disney at the box office. In 2018, they hold 3 of the highest grossing films domestically. They had Black Panther, which holds just under $700 million. Infinity War, which holds just under $676 million. And, of course, Incredibles 2 at $536. I mean, they are printing money at this point, guys.
Yep. They got some big ones coming up too. I think Mary Poppins Returns is going to be a big one for sure.
Christopher Robin.
Christopher Robin might be a
Just
surprise.
few weeks.
I think that one might be a surprise hit. I think it's gonna pack a punch.
Take tissues.
Yeah. I remember watching the teasers and like the posters and some info for Christopher Robin and just thinking, oh, this is going to be a really cool like Finding Neverland type movie or something. And I still kind of feel like that, but having the element of the characters and hearing Pooh talk for the first time, oh, my heart melted and I was just ready to watch it.
Yeah, 100%.
When does that come out again?
August
Yeah.
3rd.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're
Christopher
looking like,
Robin's
what,
August
2,
3rd.
3 weeks?
About 2 weeks,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Oh, and we still have Wreck-It Ralph this year.
Oh, my gosh,
yeah.
yes.
I forgot about that. Shame on me.
The Nutcracker, is that next year or is that this year? That's this
This
year.
I think
year.
it's this
oh
year.
wow.
That we saw the preview for that. What movie was that? We saw the preview.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That's right.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that totally looks different than what I was imagining they would go with.
But yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. Oh, can't wait for that one too.
Yeah,
I
that
think
one's
they
gonna be
ended
awesome.
up dropping the Wreck-It Ralph portion of it, and I think it's just Ralph Breaks the Internet now.
I think so.
Yes.
I'm not sure what that helps out with, because I think people will always see it as a sequel.
Well, it is a sequel, but I think maybe psychologically they're trying to avoid the sequel burnout that a lot of people are feeling right now.
Maybe.
It's like when you
Maybe.
change something from $10 to $9.99, more people buy it because they think $9 and not $10.
Is that how it
Subconsciously,
works? Well, then
Have
if
you guys-
that's the case, all of our Teamboat Willie pins that we are selling to support Chalk are now, instead of $20, they are $19.99.
Perfect. Oh, they're flying off the shelves. Look at them go.
Woo!
We only
And-
have 2 left. There's only 2 left.
Oh, we got a caller online too.
I want one of them Teamboat Willie pins.
They talk like that.
You calling from Alabama, sir?
Damn sure straight I am. Wow, that
Sir
guy
or ma'am?
that guy sounded interesting. Interesting.
Sir or ma'am.
Sir or ma'am.
That's funny.
But all kidding aside, quick sidebar to the conversation. As you guys know, we are trying to raise money for Chalk. One of the best ways to donate to our Chalk fundraiser is by going to chalkwalk.org/TeamboatWillie. All of the information on how you can donate will be located on the blog post for this episode at podketeers.com/213. We each have our own fundraising pages as well, so we could put links to those, and if you want to donate to any one of us individually, you're welcome to do so. But if you want a little something as a part of your donation, we are pre-ordering Teamboat Willie pins. So this is something that we've never done before. It's a 1.5-inch enamel pin. It's $20 to pre-order. For a specific amount of people, you can use the code CHALKWALK, the coupon code CHALKWALK, to get $5 off the purchase. Proceeds from the sales of these pins will go towards our Teamboat Willie fundraiser in an effort to raise $5,000 for Chalk this year. That's about how much we raised our first year out, so we're just trying to match what we did the first year. Gavin, there's a lot riding on your shoulders on this one, man, because you're the newbie.
I know. I'm the rookie here. I'm trying to pull my weight.
I mean, do we have to run you through Disneyland and do some training and stuff like that?
I think I might need to do that. I think I might need to get down there and, really just put in the time, put in the effort, take it one step at a time and just, just get in the game, ready to go.
All right. I think we're going to start up a training regiment for you, man.
All right, let's do it.
I've done this for just about a dozen, Baker's dozen years, so I can help you through it, man.
All right, I'm looking for a good mentor, good coach.
And we'll be there on the sidelines cheering you on, throwing some confetti and whatnot.
Little cups of Gatorade.
Nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
Get in the game, Rock!
Dun, dun.
We're going to make this
He's
happen.
got churros in each hand. Doing curls.
They're like weights, curls, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking bites
Turkey
out
legs.
of each one.
Oh, yeah. Gavin's like, I can't do it. Just take a sip of the sippy cup. I need a boot beer float.
So yeah, for more information on how you can pre-order or donate, again, podketeers.com/213 for more information.
Can you let the listeners know what chalk means?
Oh yeah.
Because we always hear chalk walk, but I don't know, maybe some listeners are going, they're raising $5,000 for some chalk?
Not writing
That's
chalk.
a lot of
Okay.
sidewalk art.
Sidewalk chalk. We could do that. So Chalk is the Children's Hospital of Orange County. And it's a very large hospital filled with many amazing people that help a lot of children in need here in Southern California. I don't think they have any other branches. I think just Chalk here, the Children's Hospital of Orange County, is their only real location. And I think some of you that have been listening for some time know that we've been doing it. My wife and I have been doing this for just about 12 years. I know we've had listeners that have done it as well with other teams. Last year was our first year out as Teamboat Willie, and now we're going out for our second run for Chalk. And no, it's not chalk like sidewalk chalk to make a drawing on the side of the street. It is CHOC, Children's Hospital of Orange County. So, since we're on the topic of cartoons and stuff, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I thought was a little sad. Disney Toons Studios closed down, and this made a little bit of big news for some people. On June 28th, I think, was the official closing date of Disney Toons Studios. Disney Toons Studios started off as Disney Movie Toons, and they've been around since April of 1990. They primarily produce a lot of stuff that would go directly to DVD, and they made a lot of the side Disney animation projects, including one of my favorite cartoon movies of all time, DuckTales the movie,
Yes.
Treasure of the Lost Lamp.
Totally awesome. That was their first feature film they created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since then, they've created a lot of other films that, especially this generation, is a lot more familiar with. They produced, I think, 47 films in total, including some of the Tinkerbell movies, The Legend of the Never Beast, and stuff like that. So, I mean, the saddest part to me about this closing down, really, I think, is the animators that are going to be losing their job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
How many?
There were 75 employees
Yeah.
at the studio at the time that they decided to shut it down. And it is still unclear whether or not those people, any of them, are going to be absorbed into other departments or businesses within the Disney studio network. So hopefully they will be. I know that there are lots of other animation studios, and hopefully they find work. But it is sad because it is the loss of a studio that's putting out animated content. And I'm super passionate about animated things, and especially Disney animated things. So I'm sad to see it go. They've created over the years a lot of things that I really liked. Hazen mentioned the DuckTales movie. I'm a big fan of the Planes franchise. You know, everybody knows I'm big on the Cars universe.
Oh, sorry.
Look, whatever, man.
I enjoyed it.
I was pleasantly surprised by Planes. I thought it was decent. And then when they did Planes, Fire and Rescue, that is a freaking good movie.
I never saw it.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. If you're including the Planes movies in the Cars universe, it's better than Cars 2, which I know to some people isn't saying much, but I mean it's really good. It has so much heart, and there's some action and some tenseness to it, and I think it's an amazing movie.
Who played the main protagonist in Planes 2 in Fire and Rescue?
Dane Cook. It's the same.
Ugh,
Dusty Cropper's the same. Come on. It's
That's
the
his
same
best
old
work so
Mater
far.
argument where people that don't like Larry the Cable Guy don't like Mater. And it's not the same thing at all.
Penelope.
We're kind of missing one of the greatest movies that came out of this. A Goofy movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, that's
I
where you
I
lose
didn't know
me.
either until I looked
Have
it
you
up.
even
I'm like,
seen Goofy movie?
oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting, but sad to know that this was one of the films, along with the DuckTales that everyone grew up with. It's kind of sad.
See, I
We
think
would have no
End of
power
an
line.
era.
it's really interesting, though, that for most of its existence, it was really just the studio that put out the sequels, the straight to home video sequels for the feature
Yeah.
films, right? And
Was it
that's
Lilo and Stitch and
all the sequels, like the
Leroy
Aladdin
and
sequels, the
Stitch.
Lion King sequels,
Pocahontas, right?
Pocahontas. They did Bambi 2, Jungle Book 2, all of those were put out by this studio, and not all of those are the greatest quality, and I think that's why a lot of people kind of think of it as a lesser studio. But it was under John Lasseter's tenure that they really started cranking out these new profitable franchises like the Pixie Hollow series and the Planes movies,
Yeah.
which several of those from both of those franchises were released in theaters. So it had become a really viable entity for movie production. And so it is surprising that it's being shuttered as they rework the studio heads right now. But I'm hopeful that this kind of work will be continued, because I think there was a lot of creativity coming out of it. And hopefully they'll create a new studio that will continue on this tradition. I'm not sure.
I just don't understand why it makes sense to create a new studio to continue that tradition when they could have just tweaked the existing one to do the same thing, right? Because I think one of the articles that I had read stated that the reason that they're closing it down was because the viewing patterns of children and some adults that like to watch these films was really changing, and they weren't really purchasing DVDs and Blu-rays anymore. They were primarily streaming,
right?
And a lot of these films that came from this studio are the ones that were currently available, like on Netflix, for instance, right? You didn't have the big major motion pictures, but you had all these other, side versions, or the you know what I mean? These side tales. So I'm still unclear as to why they just didn't decide to just tweak how it was working, to continue forward. Like I said, I think the saddest part that comes from this is just all of the employees and the animators that are losing their jobs over this. But I really do hope that they end up getting some kind of work in one of the other studios, because you still have Pixar, you still have Disney Animation. They are the larger versions of these. But yeah, it seems weird to close it to reopen it as something else.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I read the same thing about, how people are consuming content. And that's true of all categories, really. But I mean, the fact remains you still need to create content, even if it's streaming. So yeah, it is strange to me that they would close it. And, I just said that I hope they, consider opening a new studio, just because I feel like there is value to having a third studio that's producing and creating and thinking about things on the level that Disney Toons Studios was, as far as sequels or smaller level franchises that can be, produced cheaper, and it would actually be perfect for streaming. So, again, I second your notion that it is unfortunate for the people that are out of work right now, and hopefully they can be absorbed somewhere.
Plus, I think there's another benefit to having that third studio, Gavin. What do you guys think about this? That a lot of the animators that go to Pixar or to Disney Animation are graduates from Cal Arts, because Cal Arts was specifically set up, to have that Disney culture ingrained in animators that were up and coming. But I think having a third studio like Disney, the Disney Toons Studios, gives people the ability that didn't go through the Cal Arts system, the ability to learn that Disney culture and kind of, sharpen their chops, as they say, to know how a Disney film is made, to workshop new techniques, and you know what I mean? It's really bringing them into that culture that they didn't grow up with as an artist.
Yeah, I think that plays to the kind of the reputation that the Disney Toons Studio had over the years, is that it was almost seen as like the JV team, getting practice, getting to experience creating films, and it was a good place for them to do that. I don't know how much of that is actually true, and but that was kind of the reputation or the thoughts behind it. And I agree. I think it's a great vehicle for getting people experience, kind of like what Pixar does with their shorts. That allows a lot of the young animators and directors and producers a chance to create something, on a smaller scale that prepares them for bigger things. And, maybe Disney will kind of ramp up their shorts program to be more like what Pixar does. And maybe that's kind of where this goes. I don't know. But I agree. I think I do think there's a place for this, for a third studio for Disney, and we'll see what happens.
What do you guys think of the possibility of, well, you know what, before I even ask that, do you know if Fox has anything like this?
I mean, Fox works with several smaller studios.
Because I'm wondering if part of the reason they're closing it is since they're getting close to, penning this whole deal. I think the Disney Fox deal finally reached an antitrust clearing from the DOJ. So if everything goes through, they may own Fox by summer of 2019.
I see.
So if Fox has something similar, then maybe that's part of the reason why they're closing it, because they're going to begin that culture at the Fox studio and kind of make that tier of film production.
It makes you wonder if they're only buying Fox to finally get Don Bluth's company back in the Disney family. Yeah, that's an interesting theory. I think that that may play into some of this decision making. Obviously it coincides with the restructuring and the new leadership choices, with the stepping down of John Lasseter and the promotions of Pete Docter and Jennifer Lee. I think this could very well be signs that those entities are going to be brought into the fold eventually, and we'll see. They're bringing a lot of animation technology and know-how with them because they've put out a lot of amazing work. So that's kind of exciting to think about, actually.
Yeah.
New blood is good.
It would be interesting to see some of the current Disney and Pixar animators that have worked for Fox or with Fox in the past kind of rekindle that. Because for instance, we're just talking about Incredibles 2. Like, not a lot of people know that Brad Bird got his start working on The Simpsons and working with Klasky Csupo. And considering that he was a consultant for so many years on those series, he kind of knows what it takes to get that type of animation and that type of series, and that niche type of animation, right? So maybe that's what Disney's bringing into the fold, and they're going to start kind of folding into, I don't know. It's a really interesting dynamic that they're starting to build.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, we kind of started this conversation on a bit of a downer, with the closing of the studio and the laying off of people. But this idea kind of allows for the idea of a glimmer of hope and, some interesting things possibly on the horizon.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime we have the possibility of more animation, I'm excited.
I concur. Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week on that positive note. So before we wrap up, a couple things we just want to remind you guys of. Again, Chalk Walk, we're officially signed up. We'd love to have you guys there. Head on over to podketeers.com/213 for more information. That is the blog post for this episode. Or just click on the Team Boat Willie page up at the top of the page. You'll find more information on how you can sign up, how you can donate. Passing around the link through social media and helping us get donations is also an awesome way to help us out. So if you have the opportunity, please help us spread those links around. If you want to help us out directly, the best way to do that is by becoming a fairy godparent of our podcast. We like to call them our fairy godparents, but they like to call themselves the FGP Squad. You can give as little or as much as you want monthly, but for a $5 contribution, you do get the exclusive fairy godparent button for your support and our love and devotion. And a little heart symbol. I mean, all that stuff. If you see us in the parks, we'll also give you a hug. It's up to you. I mean, if you want it. If you don't, I mean, it is what it is. But to all of our current fairy godparents, we would love to thank you for your support. Another great way to help us out is if you shop on Amazon, head on over to podketeers.com/Amazon before your next purchase. Click on the huge Amazon button on that page, which takes up the whole page. Like if you're on a mobile device, it seems to shrink down, which looks kind of weird, but if you look at it on your browser, it's huge. It's huge, trust me.
Ginormous.
Ginormous, exactly. Click on that button before your next purchase. You'll be taken over to Amazon with our special link, and anything that you purchase may earn us a small commission as a thank you from Amazon because we mentioned them on this podcast. And to everyone that's taking a few extra clicks before they make the purchase, we just want to thank you guys for that support as well. All right, guys, anything else before we wrap up for today?
Happy birthday, Disneyland.
Happy birthday! Should we sing Happy Birthday to Disneyland?
We can.
Let's sing Happy Birthday to Disneyland. Ready?
Oh boy.
No.
Rubber baby bucky bumpers. Here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Can we do it all together?
Birthday, dear Disneyland.
Yay!
Happy birthday to you.
Why are you?
And
You're
many
63.
Why don't you do the Jungle Cruise version? This is your birthday song.
Oh,
Short
it
is
is
very
very
long.
long.
This is the birthday song. It isn't very long.
It isn't very long.
It's awesome.
We could.
That's okay. We're a one and done type of team.
So here we go. Until next week. Here is to beers, cheers, and Mickey ears. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Ta-ta for now.